I present to you our Acting Minister Plenipotentiary, the Honorable Hassani Ellis. The Honorable Minister of Education, Culture. The Honorable Minister of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport, Ms. Yoreen Huerta. The Honorable Minister of Finance, Mr. Michael Ferrier. The Honorable Minister of Public Health, Social Development and Labor, Mr. Emil Lee. The Honorable Minister of Justice, Mr. Van Hugh Cornelius de Wever. The Honorable Minister of Public Housing, Spatial Planning, Environment and Infrastructure, Mr. Miklos Gietersen. Ladies and gentlemen, our Honorable Prime Minister, Mrs. Leona Marlin Romeo. I present His Excellency, Governor Dr. Eugene Holliday. Excellency, Governor Dr. Eugene Holliday, Acting Governor, Mr. Rena Groeneveld, President of Parliament, Sarah Westcott Williams, Prime Minister, Mrs. Leona Marlin Romeo, Honorable Member of Parliament, MP Chanel Brownville, Ministers of the Council, Ombudsman, Dr. Nilda Ardern, Vice Chair Lady of the Council of Advice, Mrs. Mavis Brooks Solomon, Secretary General of the Council of Advice, Mr. Randolph Duggins, Member of the General Audit Chamber, Mr. Alphonse Gomes, Secretary General of the Ministry of General Affairs, Mr. Hensley Plantain, Secretary General of the Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sports, Mrs. Shermina Powell Richardson, Secretary General of the Ministry of Rami, Mr. Miguel de Wever. Members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I welcome you to this constituted meeting of our newly sworn-in Council of Ministers. And I now turn the floor over to our Prime Minister, Mrs. Leona Marlin Romeo.
At this moment, before I officially ask the Governor and open this meeting, I just want to give a short word of thanks to all of the supporters, everyone that are here right now, the Honorable Chair Lady of Parliament, who was the former TUD that completed the entire process, the one that began it, the former TUD, Franklin Myers, my family, my daughter. It's a good experience for you. I thank you all. At this time, His Excellency, Council of Ministers, invited guests, I hereby open this meeting.
Today, almost 2.5 months ago, a shift in the majority in Parliament took place, creating the basis for the transfer of governing responsibility to a new team of ministers, the new team of ministers. As a result, this interim cabinet was appointed and sworn in a short while ago. As I stated during the swearing-in ceremony, the path to this transfer was not without challenges. Having concluded the formation, and the Prime Minister just referred to and thanked the formateur, Mrs. Westcott Williams, and I hereby also express my thanks to Mrs. Westcott Williams for completing the process which was started by Mr. Franklin Myers. Thank you. Having completed the formation process, it is important to emphasize that we are, as I stated in my New Year's address, living at a pivotal moment in our nation's history. Hurricane Irma and her aftermath have set our country back in no small way. And while we have made great strides during the past 4 months, we have quite some work to do in the period ahead. Quite some work to meet the urgent challenges ahead of us for the rebuilding of our beloved island, St. Martin. As we face this challenge, I say we because we are in this together. I advise that we hold on to the fundamental principles that underpins our Constitution. Looking ahead, it is therefore important that we are reminded of the principles outlined in the preamble of our Constitution, which, as I said during the swearing-in ceremony, slightly reworded states, "We, the people of St. Martin, are determined to work with each other. We believe in the principles of democracy. We believe in the rule of law. We believe in the entitlement of all individuals to the fundamental rights and freedoms. We wish to create a constitutional order based on an open and approachable government. And we therefore, to record our objectives and convictions, agree that the provisions of our Constitution shall have the force of law. As such, our Constitution provides an anchor and a blueprint for individuals, households, corporations, public organizations, and government to work together to build St. Martin and improve the lives of our people. In this respect, this new team is faced with an awesome responsibility. A responsibility of, among others, furthering the recovery process in cooperation with the Netherlands, revisiting the budget of 2018, executing the agreement with the Netherlands on border control, starting with the implementation of the law on the Integrity Chamber, and executing the February 26th elections. And in assuming the mandate to govern this, our beautiful country, I trust that each one of you as ministers, in keeping with your oath, will work to fortify our constitutional principles aimed at improving the well-being of our people. I therefore, with respect, and as I said during the swearing-in ceremony, with respect to the furthering and planning of the recovery, encourage you as ministers and as council to take steps to meet the urgent needs of our people in terms of, among others, employment and housing. In that regard, they rest on you individually and collectively as Council of Ministers a great responsibility. Your decisions will have lasting influences on the lives of our people. Thus, as you deliberate on taking action on the matters before you during your governing period, I again wish you wisdom individually and collectively in the conduct of your responsibilities as you seek to meet your constitutional responsibility to our people. With that in mind, I hereby congratulate the people of St. Martin with the installation of this new government, and similarly congratulate each of you and your families with your appointments as Prime Minister, ministers, and Deputy Minister Plenipotentiary. Thank you. God bless each of you, and may God bless St. Martin and protect its coast. Thank you.
To give an elucidation of just what just transpired, that was the National Decree for Vervangingsregeling. According to Article 38 and 39 of the Constitution, the ministers together form the Council of Ministers. The Council just signed a national decree that outlines specifically which ministers replaces whom in the event that a particular minister is absent, the so-called Vervangingsregeling. Absence of a minister can be, for example, the minister has to travel or as the minister is on vacation. The current national decree is outlined as follows. The Prime Minister, Minister of General Affairs, in her absence, will be replaced by Minister Emil Lee, who is the Minister of Public Health, Social Development, and Labor. The Minister of Finance, Michael Ferrier, will be replaced by Minister Urine Wuite, who is the Minister of Education, Culture, Youth, and Sports. The Minister of Justice, Van Hugh de Wever, will be replaced by myself, Mrs. Leona Romeo Marlin, the Prime Minister and Minister of General Affairs. The Minister of Education, Urine Wuite, Education, Culture, Youth, and Sports, Urine Wuite, will be replaced by Minister Gitterson, who's the Minister of Public Housing, Spatial Planning, Environment, and Infrastructure. The Minister of Public Health, Social Development, and Labor, Mr. Emil Lee, will be replaced by Minister Michael Ferrier, who's the Minister of Finance. The Minister of Tourism, Economic Affairs, Traffic, and Telecommunication will be replaced by Minister Van Hugh Cornelius de Wever. That position is yet to be filled. And also, the Minister of Public Housing, Spatial Planning, Environment, and Infrastructure will be replaced by Miklos Gitterson, by Minister Van Hugh de Wever. In the event that the minister and his or her replacement are absent, the Prime Minister will replace the minister, otherwise Minister Lee. In case all these persons are absent, the person who is the oldest in age will replace the minister in question. We're looking, I didn't say the name.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this reception ceremony for our newly sworn-in Council of Ministers. We will now welcome from the second part of their constituted meeting the ministers. First, we welcome Minister of VSA, the Honorable Emil Lee. Minister of Finance, Mr. Michael Ferrier. Minister of Justice, Mr. Van Hugh Cornelius de Wever. Minister of Education, Culture, Youth and Sports, Ms. Yoreen Walter. Minister of ROMI, Mr. Miklos Gitterson. Acting Minister Plenipotentiary, Mr. Hassani Ellis. We welcome our Prime Minister, the Honorable Mrs. Leona Romeo Marlin. As well as His Excellency, the Governor of St. Martin, Dr. Eugene Holliday. We will now invite our Prime Minister and Minister of General Affairs to give her first official remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the podium our Prime Minister, Mrs. Leona Romeo Marlin.
Let me commence by sharing a few of the lyrics of a song called Not Alone for Mighty Empire, written by William P. Merrill in 1911. And mind you, I'm not going to sing it, I'm going to recite it. Not alone for mighty empire, stretching far over land and sea. Not alone for bounteous harvest, lift we up our hearts to thee. Standing in the living present, memory and hope between, Lord, we would with deep thanksgiving praise thee more for things unseen. God of justice, save the people from the clash of race and creed, from the strife of class and faction, make our nation free indeed. Keep her faith in simple manhood, strong as when her life began, till it's find its full fruition in the brotherhood of man. I want to give thanks for this opportunity presented to me to represent St. Martin as the second female Prime Minister of this young nation. I am truly humbled and honored by all of the congratulatory and outpouring of well wishes that I have received from both near and far. The journey has been and is challenging and will be challenging, but God gives the toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. Today, I pledge to you that with all my strength, determination, perseverance, together, we will ensure that this country will return to its prominent status within this region. September 6, 2017, a day that will forever be etched in our minds, a day that changed this island that we love, St. Martin. I stand here today and can proudly state that in its darkest moments, this nation has shown an unyielding determination that revealed a perfect truth, that we, as a people, we are resilient and we are unconquerable. A nation without fortitude and will to survive is one with hollow bearings and will eventually confront the inevitable and fall. Though we have shown our determination to survive after Hurricane Irma, it does not stop here. This nation has to rebuild, but cannot be rebuilt overnight. St. Martin, we are essentially still in the recovery stage, and in order to thrive and evolve in prosperity, a paradigm shift must occur. As a people, we must collectively change our outlook, as it is no longer business as usual. During this stage of recovery, it is important for us to unite, learn from past experiences, and restructure, rebuild, reform, simply because we are a progressive nation and can and will do better. I am cognizant to the reality that the road ahead will be long. There are tough times ahead. But with the focus on setting the right priorities for recovery, within due time, we will achieve our goals. This government is committed to the principles of integrity, transparency, and good governance. We are committed to the recovery and reconstruction of St. Martin. This includes establishing a clear and actionable economic plan developed in cooperation with the community entities such as the Chamber of Commerce, Chamber of Unions, SHTA, SER, just to name a few. Managing the labor market and establishing skill development programs to ensure maximum employment for the people of St. Martin. Working together to ensure stability and tranquility and hope through the fast-track and sustainable economic development, finalizing the plan for reconstruction, giving preferences to the establishment of a safety plan to strengthen the overall safety of St. Martin, implementing bilateral agreements between St. Martin and the Netherlands regarding border control, implementing the Integrity Chamber law in accordance with the agreement between St. Martin and the Netherlands, re-establishing cooperation with French St. Martin. In the upcoming press briefing, each minister will give an overview of their priorities per ministry. Getting the aforementioned and how soon this government does, such will be determined and influenced by many internal and external factors. Setbacks are inevitable, and many will not agree with every decision. However, this alone provides an opportunity towards self-reflection. As Balthasar Creation stated, self-reflection is the school of wisdom. As Prime Minister, expect that I will always be open and live to my oath. I will be open about the realistic and factual challenges that we face as a country. If the last hurricane season taught us anything, it is that we cannot have a thriving nation without internal and external cooperation, without revisiting and reflecting on the decisions taken, questioning how effective we were and how we can improve and better prepare for the next disaster. It is the utmost importance that during these difficult times, we communicate, prioritize, make good use of the scarce resources that we have. Let me re-emphasize scarce resources. As we cannot spend what we do not have, we cannot squander the little that we do have. To the Council of Ministers, I sincerely pray that we learn from the words of Ezekiel chapter 22:30. It states, I looked for someone among them who would build up the wall and stand before me in the gap on behalf of the land, so I would not have to destroy it, but I found no one. We, this council, this government, are to be those who stand in the gap, who lift up this island with all its challenges, faults, triumphs before the throne of God, and fervently pray that He continues to work in our midst and guide us through this journey. May we keep this nation and each other in prayer without ceasing. On behalf of the Romeo Marling Cabinet, I would like to thank you for your audience. We look forward to working for the people of St. Martin, bearing in mind the quote of Martin Luther King, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy." May God bless each of you. May he bless us all and bless this nation we love, St. Martin.